Hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And in this video, I wanted to talk about combating sexism. In another video, I was talking about the future of gender equality. I was thinking that things might not really change so much with respect to women gaining power and prominence in society because of a higher vested interest in their kids. It's a simple thing if you think about it. Women who don't put a lot of investment into their children may not have as successful children. They may not have as many children, and they're just going to be outbred by women who do. It's not even a question of thinking about it. If you do what results in more or higher quality offspring, you are going to succeed in life. I mean, from a point of view that your genes are going to continue. There's going to be more of you with that particular idea. So that's what's going to happen. And I know a lot of people are going to say that that's what I want to happen. That's what I think, that's my point of view. It's my point of view that where I think things are going to go, it's not my point of view in terms of what I would like to happen. But anyway, in this video, I wanted to talk about combating sexism. And I don't think I'm going to put it in the headline, but I meant my sexism. Because first of all, when I was a kid, I grew up reading, not having my finger on the pulse of society, like what was really happening in the world. I read a lot of magazines and I read a lot, period. So I had my point of view as, it was given to me by these magazines that, there was progress was happening and women were gaining power and prominence in the world, etc., etc. But that isn't what is happening. There are instances of that. There are examples of that. But that's what they are. That's not a trend. It's not a trend that women are gaining that power. They're not becoming CEOs. They're not becoming, en masse. There are examples of that happening, and much higher than before, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years ago in society. But we are not going to have wake up one day and there's going to be 50, 60% of the CEOs or prime ministers or leaders of countries are going to be women. That's not really going to happen. I've not seen that happening, because if it does happen, the women who do that, they're not going to have a lot of kids. That's just how it is, as far as I'm seeing it. You can have a lot of kids, I suppose. Let's say if you have a bunch of surrogates, and you also have a bunch of nannies to take care of these kids, yeah, you can do that. But your kids are going to follow more in line with what their nannies, and if they have a relationship with them, what their surrogates give them in terms of their ideas. And then may not necessarily, I'm not seeing how they're going to look towards this person who is the CEO or the president. And plus that, if you're going to have surrogates, you have to be Kim Kardashian wealthy. If you're going to have a whole bunch of nannies, you're going to have to be some other person wealthy. So that means that that's not something that's accessible to very, very many people. And I am going too much into this. Let me just say, my sexism, the way that it represented itself was that I thought women are pretty much like this. To to say what they are, there are all of these stereotypes of what women are like. Women are not logical, and I'm talking about like relationship wise. Yeah, women are not logical. Women might just want to talk for the sake of talking, and da 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 da. Now there are certain things I suppose that are real. The women that exist now in society are not, let's say, they're not going to run out and start companies. Women are not going to, for the most part, travel by themselves. What I mean by travel by themselves is women are more likely to want to go to an event or something with someone else, not by themselves. Like, for example, my sister. Whereas I think it's not a big deal to go out alone, my sister practically never does that. And you might say, okay, well, that's just your sister. I know this person. Yes, you know of specific examples of people. As a general trend, women do not go out in Timberlakes, for example. That's not something that women do. Yeah, that's not, women use high heels. That's a real trend. There's a lot of women that use flats, but there's a lot of women that think that high heels are sexy and that skirts and yoga pants are sexy. And, you have to look at what trends are. You're never going to find that many men in yoga pants, okay? You're never going to find that many men with makeup on. And, okay, I'm going too far. But bottom line is, I had an idea that women are this way, not as logical as men, or women are not maybe prone to being more dramatic than men, etc., etc. And I realized that a lot of these things that I thought of as female are not female because it's something that women do that is a part of a female nature. It is a part of what women would come and grow up seeing done and decide that they're going to conform to it. And some of the other ideas that I had about what women are like are really just the women that I know that I might be attracted to. And that's really what it amounted to. And a lot of the features that I might think of as being female might be just because I don't talk to a lot of men, like really, really talk, like to have a deep conversation per se. And as a result of that, there are women who are incredibly logical, and they're incredibly, they prioritize things, and they're good managers, and they're very, very good. They're better than men in so many ways, and I mean across the board, beyond superficial things like high heels and whatever else. There are a lot of women who should be significantly in positions of power. I don't think that they are going to end up in positions of power because that's how our culture is, and and in addition to that, some of the skills of ending up in power have to do with time spent not thinking about having kids and how are you going to be with your kids. A lot of that thinking that women might have with respect to makeup, and a lot of that energy that women spend towards cosmetics and clothing and whatever else, they would not spend towards being combative and making themselves gain power. So you're not, even though you are better at a man, perhaps at this particular job, you might not end up in a powerful position with respect to the job because you're not putting in as much time with respect to gaining that power. And that's, I think it is not that women can't, It's that because of the pressures of society that women are in that position, I think. And somehow I think that this is going to end up sounding so sexist anyway. But what can I do? I suppose eventually, if these things are viewed really negatively, I might just end up deleting a lot of these videos anyway. But by thinking about what my positions were and what my ideas were of the different things that I thought that women were, for example, I was able to realize to myself that a lot of my ideas, again, have to do with the fact that they came about from a very small sample size, and there were many women who I did not particularly find attractive, who were in many ways so much more superior to guys, in intelligence, in terms of their attitudes, in terms of so many things. But I didn't see them because the majority of women that I saw are women that I was attracted to. And by the mere factor of a woman being particularly attractive, it would discourage certain things that if I were looking at women across the board, I would have seen. So let's say, for example, just straight attractiveness in terms of being attractive. I don't think that being attractive is very helpful in terms of gaining useful skills in life. It's not something that's going to help you to do that. It may help you to be powerful. People may look to you. You may get a large following. You may be a celebrity, and etc. Would you become one of the very best actors? Not necessarily. I don't think that it's helpful. Maybe you can become one of the very best actors, but I don't think that it would help you in gaining that skill, because without it, you can still achieve much more than someone who is not as attractive. And I think that in me looking at attractive women and thinking, oh, women are like this and women are like that and women like the other, I was, because of that small sample size that I was using and not looking at all of these other women who could not fall back so much on how much people were attracted to them. And of course there are incredibly attractive women who are still able to work hard and succeed in spite of the distraction of being attractive and having people bug them all the time because of that. So that, basically I think that I think that myself and probably a lot of other guys, by focusing on what certain attractive women, we might not see the bigger picture and have a very skewed view of what women are like and what they can achieve and what they can do. I'll give you an example of what I might have encountered to make me end up with that slightly skewed view that I had. I remember an instance where I know like a couple of people who I thought were pretty attractive, and in terms of their perseverance, I remember I was trying to help one girl to learn how to program, and the very first day she asked me, how long do you think this is going to take? And that to me is a red flag. If you want to learn how to program, it's like wanting to learn how to play tennis at a very good level. What do you mean, how long do I think it's going to take? Is that what you ask somebody when you go to learn tennis or judo or what? I mean, and furthermore, the problem was that that's what she kept asking me regularly, which means that she was bored and not really interested in doing it. there was somebody else who I was trying to help with respect to law, like study for a law class. And I would say that she was pretty attractive. She was not really focused. It was hard to get her to focus on what we were doing. And again, this is a small sample size, but these are some of the people that I met. And on the flip side, there are really attractive girls that I knew who studied really hard. But because they studied hard, I would not have spent much time with them, and that would skew my point of view again, even though there are these attractive people who are doing so well. So anyway, that's just part of what happened with me, and I figured I would talk about it. So wish me luck, even if you hate me and despise me now at this point. You can like or unlike, you can comment and share or subscribe. Thanks. Peace.